Have you ever felt like life is pulling you in a million directions? Maybe your career is soaring, but your relationships are struggling, or your health habits are on point, but your finances need serious attention. Well, there's a tool, a powerful tool that a lot of coaches use that can help you visualize these different aspects of your life and bring them into better balance. And today we're going to dive into that tool called the Wheel of Life. It's one of life coaching's most popular tools, and it's helping coaches transform lives for over half a century. Now, this is not your typical Wheel of Life tutorial. As well as covering the basics, I'm also going to explore how this tool evolves as your coaching skills grow, from beginner to intermediate to expert level coaching. Now, I've used this tool with hundreds of clients, and I've discovered that its real power lies not just in the tool itself, but the questions you ask afterwards, and how you help clients look at their wheel and really sink into the meaning behind their assessments. And now you will learn not just how to create the wheel, but how to use it like a master coach, and have a couple sample questions that can help unlock those deeper insights and create more meaningful transformations. So in the next few minutes, you'll discover what the Wheel of Life is and why it's so effective, a step-by-step guide to process and create your own wheel, and techniques and sample questions typical of beginner, intermediate, and expert level coaching. Now, whether you're a coach looking to level up your skills or someone interested in personal development, you're in the right place. So let's dive in and explore how this simple but powerful tool can transform lives at every level of expertise. The Wheel of Life is a popular coaching tool to help people assess and visualize their current levels of satisfaction across multiple key areas of life. It typically appears as a circular diagram divided into 8 to 10 segments, like spokes on a wheel, with each segment representing a different life topic or a different life category. And those common areas included in the Wheel of Life are career or work. If you're working with students, this looks like school. Health or physical well-being, finances or money. If you're working with students, this is grades. Family, relationships, romance, love, significant other. Personal growth or learning, fun and recreation, physical environment, space, home, like where you find yourself, the spaces you find yourself in, spirituality or your inner self, and social life, friends, fun. These categories are fluid. You can choose whichever categories fit your life, fit your situation. I've seen wheels for executive coaching, for health and wellness coaching, for students, for parents. You name it, there are categories. The main idea is to get the categories of your life that are the most apt and useful for you or for your client, and to put them on some sort of visual representation so that people can rate their current level of satisfaction in each of these areas. So that's the next step, looking at each of these areas and asking yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what is your current level of satisfaction in this area? Now, this helps you identify areas that might need more attention, areas where you're thriving, your overall life balance, and relationships between different topics and areas of your life. And the visual nature of this tool makes it easy to spot those imbalances, and it can spark insights about where to focus on your improvement efforts, and the wheel can also be used to track progress over time by comparing earlier and current versions. Now, this tool was introduced in the 1960s by Paul Meyer, who emphasized the importance of goals and using tools like the Wheel of Life to help people visualize aspects of their life and set meaningful goals. The tool, as life coaches use it, has echoes of the Wheel of Life in Buddhism's Bhavacakra and in Gandhi's Satyagraha, which is a visual representation of Gandhi's philosophy combined with different aspects of life and society. And in general, the idea of circles as tools for humans to think about their lives in the world has a long and rich history. And from the standpoint of life coaching, this is one of coaching's mainstay tools. For example, here's a study in 2022 that looked at the results and satisfaction of nurses who receive life coach training in delivering coaching sessions to patients. And this study showcased the Wheel of Life as one of coaching's main tools. And for me professionally, I often use this tool in sample sessions with clients, introduction sessions with teams. It's also an amazing tool for check-ins a few months into a coach-client relationship. And it can also be used as an effective way to close out a coaching relationship because you're looking over the successes and misses over the past few months, and there's a structure to this. There's a way to get a visual representation of how things are going. This is also one of the first tools that we cover in our life coach training course. And there are endless ways to use it, especially if you combine this with different coaching tools and in the hands of an experienced coach. In future videos, I might go through all the different variations or ways you can use the tool, but for now, let's keep it simple, and then we'll explore how beginning, intermediate, and expert coaches might use the wheel. So, steps to make the wheel. Step 1, create your wheel. Draw a large circle and divide it into 8 to 10 sections like a pie, and then label each section with the key areas of life such as health, career or school, finances or grades, personal growth, family and relationships, social life, recreation and fun, physical environment, spirituality, other categories that you might want to add or swap out, community. Step 2, rate each area on a scale of 0 to 10, starting at the center of the slice is 0 and the circumference is 10, and the outer edge represents that 10. So the idea is you're not going to share these with anyone, so be as honest as you can as you assess each area, and then you can mark the score. Sometimes you put the number in the middle, and then you can draw a line from the corner to the circumference. Let's say you have a 5 out of 10, then you just draw a line halfway. Or you can connect dots. You can draw lines between all of your lines, and this makes more of a web, which shows your balance of life in this way. Perfectly balanced wheel, let's say you had 8s on all of them, would just look like a circle within a circle. But your actual shape, it gives a visual representation of your general life. What does it feel like? If this were a wheel on the car, how smooth would that ride be? And then the next step is to analyze your wheel. Look at it. Look at the lowest scores. Look at the highest scores. Look at the balance. Is it bumpy? Is it smooth? And then the next step is to consider how different areas impact each other. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. Last part of this video is to look at the beginner, intermediate, and expert ways to use the wheel. Beginner mode. These questions are still strong. These are great life coaching questions, but these questions are typical of people who are beginning their life coach training, beginning coaches, people who are just getting introduced to this tool. These are extremely useful questions. They're just more on the surface and have more to do with looking at the wheel, as well as what action steps that you can take to improve these different areas of your life. For instance, what parts of your life feel the most important to work on right now? If you could improve just 1 or 2 things in your life, what would they be? What area of your life is asking for attention the most? What action step can you create that would move your level of satisfaction in this area up 1 or 2 steps? What small steps could you start with? What's one thing that you can do this week? And which actions feel doable right now? Those are examples of beginner level life coaching questions on a tool like this. And then you get more into intermediate mode. And intermediate mode shifts slightly and looks a little bit deeper as what are the connections between these areas? Which area is the one that has the biggest impact on others? When you look at satisfaction levels across different areas, which 2 areas feel like they're the most connected? And how does progress in one impact progress in another? Intermediate questions can also get deeper into priorities and values. How do your current priorities align with areas that have the most influence on your overall well-being? And how do you know you're making progress in those areas? These are typical intermediate coaching questions for coaches who've had some training, some experience working with clients, and get to that slightly deeper level of looking at not just action steps and timelines, but looking at systems and habits and relationships between different areas of life. And then you get to expert mode. And expert mode is when you're looking at a wheel like this and you're asking clients about the narrative, the idea that they have of themselves. And so looking at the wheel, what recurring theme or story about yourself shows up across these different areas of your life? If these areas of life were a chapter in your autobiography, what title would you give the current chapter you're living in? It's one of my favorites. What character trait of yours serves as both a strength and a limitation across these different areas of life? What unspoken rules have you created for yourself about how these different areas of life should look? The last one I'll leave you with is, what stories about your capability or worth gets reinforced when you face challenges in one of these areas? Now, these questions are so good and they're so fun to answer and to get into this wheel. It's a starting point. And that's what these assessment wheels are designed for. They're designed for clients to get a really quick visual representation of where things are at. How am I doing? And the life moving so fast, like with all of these ideas of, all these things coming at us. Here's a tool that you can take a breath, assess what's your current level of satisfaction in these different areas. And then in the hands of a coach, working with a coach, you get to have a starting point to go to that deeper level. And now in preparation for this video, I created a list of around 40 questions. I shared a few earlier, and if you're interested in this list, I'll put a link to Coach Training EDU's website. I'll write a blog about this where I will put a complete list. And in the future, if you want a video where we read through these and all of them or go through them, you can pause the video between them. Let me know in the comments below. But this is one of life coaching's most used tools. It's traditionally the first tool that you would use when you're working with a client in a sample coaching session. It is one of the first tools that we train coaches to use when they're enrolled in a coach training program through Coach Training EDU. And it's the tool that I was first introduced to life coaching with. Yeah, it's an excellent starting point for a lot of different places that a life coach will go with when working with a client. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for engaging with these tools and ideas, and I hope to see you soon.